What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to the morning bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. This should be Friday, June 19th, should be the first morning that I wake up in the black overall in Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, I didn't know that Soriano got scratched. I assume I would have rebetted even at a worse number right away, but unfortunately, I didn't know that. So I found that out at the beginning of the nightly bag and realized that without those, the Athletics first five minus a half and the Athletics first five, because I doubled up on the spot. With those two games voided, I went 3-3 yesterday instead of 5-3. Mets first five pushed, and the Giants first five plus a half was postponed. And so I'm still taint hair under or in the red in baseball. And look, being in the black at this point in the year, that's certainly not the goal, but almost 800 bets in. And I want to be in the black, and then I want to climb. I just want to get to the black, feel what that feels like, and then get to double-digit units, and then get to 20 units, and then have goals associated with after finally reaching the black, which I thought I did, but I did not. We have a massive card that we need to attack. We got to move quickly. I got Swiggy on the ones and twos, so we got to move very quickly. I have 10 bets in Major League Baseball, 1 in the WNBA, and 10 in CFL, and there's a whole bunch of additions I want to make. I didn't move on the Rangers under. The Rangers Padres under. I didn't. There's a bunch of spots I didn't move on, but I still have 10 bets. But I just wanted to talk them out with you guys one more time before I pull the trigger and invest. Shout out to everybody joining us. Justin McKelvey in the house. Tax play day number 1 yonder. Alvarez over 1.5 bases minus 110 number 2. The Dodgers on the run line. It's very interesting. I cannot stop thinking about Mizorowski and the Brewers opening up at minus 145. And we assumed that the line would just keep moving in their favor, and it has around minus 180, minus 185 now. That's insane to me. And then, the Dodgers line opening up at minus 200, moving down to minus 170, coming back to minus 180. If we weren't running the way we were running, I probably, last year, there's no way I bet this. But this year, it's different. We're not using the cash flow as a big part of our, assessment game by game. Now, we will be today. So let me get the board up for the odds up. So we will be today. But I joined Justin. I was like, look, I see this as value with the Dodgers. Anytime I can get the -1 at a decent price, I'm going to bet it. So I'm on the first 5 minus half and the full game -1. So I'm right with you on that Dodgers look. So I'm running with Justin there. Sick from the fall in the houses. Let's get to it. We got Colin Gregory ready to rock. Now a PSR bronze member. Colin Gregory, respect my man. Thank you for running with us. We got Johnny Bender says, good Friday and 12 hours of rain in the forecast here for Johnny Bender. We have a beautiful day here up north. We got Leroy Flood in the house. Coin. Juneteenth play of the day. Milwaukee first 5 run line and Texas first 5 run line here for our guy, Coin. Let's get this all copied and pasted right under Justin's action. Please share your best bets, plays of the day, so that we can discuss it at the end of the show. We got Mark A in the house, and there's Sharpie. Says, I rarely move before the lineups. They can't do nothing on the bench to get me off. Schlittler over 7 or more strikeouts at minus 128. Sasaki Roki at 6 or more here. Mark A saying a pitching change in the White Sox game because we thought it might be Fetty. There's Louisville Gambler in the house. Let's get the lineups up. So I was thinking that when I saw that there was a different starter, I thought that was just going to be an opener, but I didn't put too much attention to it. And I still got Fetty listed here for the White Sox. Let's see if the books have something different. Troy Torrance in the house. What up, Troy? My man. So let's just get right to work. We've got a lot of work to do here, but let me just see because I did see that at some books, but RotoWire still has Fetty there. And Sick from the Fall says, I think it's just it's just an opener. Isert for Fetty. I don't have to rebet openers anymore. That's canceled. But these voided bets of my local, and I don't need to write anything. Like, it's just voided if there's a pitching change. Due diligence. I could have easily wrote, look, I just need Gage Jump, who we all want to back every start he pitches. And then the opposition to be action. I wish I had done that. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys for joining us. This is now our run is at 16 days. It's be the best 2-week run of my entire career. I when you're down 49.88 units in a sport, you're screwed. And the idea is just take it week by week, take it slow. If you can just add 3 to 5 units a week and just keep knocking it down. Picking up 50 units in 2 weeks in MLB is great, important, but we need to keep this going. The job is not even close to being done. So let's get to work. Jerry Davis in the house. Jerry, great to see you. Let's get to work. Thank you guys for joining us here at Pub Sports Radio. Got a great group of cappers in the chat here. And looking forward to rocking with you guys. Looking forward to hear if Sharpie can stay. I'm not sure how long he can stay with us, but here is analysis on these pitchers. So let's roll. Shout out to Swiggy on the 1s and 2s. I will keep a keen eye on the clock because I went a little long on the night show here. Look at Troy. Yeah, we were both there. Troy's just deficit now 15. I love it. And Ellie McKinnon, yeah, I'm trying not to pay too much attention to Corey Connors, but I would, look, we were here in the last major with Nick Taylor, and who had the very worst final round of all of the top 50 golfers was Nick Taylor. But Corey Connors can get me paid. I hope he does. All right, let's roll. Look at that. Turnbuckle Tommy, epic run for him in MLB. Feels like the whole community's eating right now. Let's keep it going. We started 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 36-38, 15-20 on the road. At the Chicago Cubs 39-36, 22-16 at home. We are at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. We have Wrigley Field today minus 5% runs, plus 1% homers, minus 15% doubles and triples, and even for singles. So it's not, the weather's not wreaking havoc here. We have Kevin Gossman, and I know he cherishes this opportunity to pitch at Wrigley Field. This could be his last opportunity. That's how he's taking it. And I expect him to be excellent, as he's been throughout his career. 3.41 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's got a 3.25 expected ERA. He's phenomenal. I mean, this is right in line to what he did last year. I mean, the guy is Mr. Consistent right now. Troy Torrance says he's backed Ben Brown in the first 5 every start this season. No reason to stop now. Jerry Davis on the Cubs and the over. Let's talk about Gossman first. There's our guy 462 for life. Colin Gregory says he wants the Jays but hasn't bet it. And we have the first 5 under for Mr. Torrance. Here, last start was a bounce back start, an important one for Gossman. He'd had a couple tough starts to begin June. 4-3 loss at the Braves. He allowed all 4 runs over 6 innings. Still got 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. I mean, this guy is so consistent. And then he gets touched up by the Orioles. The Orioles sticks are pretty hot right now. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, and a 6-4 win at home over the Orioles. Then he bounced back at home versus the Yankees. But that's back-to-back home starts. And also, he has been at home 4 of his last 5 starts. Now, we talked about Joe Ryan being in a similar position yesterday. He'd had 5 of his last 6 starts at home. And we're like, look, the guy's a vet. Who cares? Let's get past it. I think the same thing with Gossman. I don't think we need to put too much emphasis here into the fact that, 4 of his last 5 starts have been at home. Joe Ryan got us paid yesterday immediately. I don't see why this would be any different. The solution is on Cubs first 5 and full game over. Let's talk about Ben Brown. 3-2, 1.74 ERA, 0.97 whip. He's got 3.12 expected ERA. He's been nothing short of fantastic. By the way, Coin saying Chicago 2-8 straight up at home with a total 7.5 or under. That's interesting. That's a great note. Thank you for that, Coin. Ben Brown's been unbelievable. Every single start this year. I mean, you have to search to find a start where he's allowed more than 1 earned run because it's only happened once, May 19th. 3 earned runs over 5 innings at home versus the Brewers. The guy's just rolling. I mean, he's absolutely rolling. Now, all of a sudden, the Jays are hitting. Just a surprise to all of us. Jerry Davis says Twins and A's easiest money on the board yesterday. Yes, and I should have got paid on the A's, but that shit was voided, Jerry. It was voided. I couldn't believe that. I had no idea there was a pitching change. It just, my heart sunk. I saw the 5-0 opening. I'm like, oh, this is exactly. Jays bullpen 3.54 ERA, 1.21 whip. Cubs bullpen 3.45 ERA, 1.30 whip. And shout out to Turnbuckle Tommy, now a member of Pub Sports Radio. Tommy means a ton to us. Thank you so much. So you see these bullpens, very strong, consistent, trustworthy bullpens. I know the Cubbies bullpens had a little hiccup last 5 games. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis into that. And we have a huge advantage with the Jays against righties versus the Cubs against righties. I mean, that's just the facts here. They're hitting. The Jays are hitting. Vladdy Guerrero, could he heat up now? That was just his 4th home run of the year. But you can see the trajectory of this Jays offense. They're starting to hit. And look at Springer's at bat. Springer he looks really, really good. So that is our situation here. Let's get into the line history. Take a peek at the cash flow. Take a look at the first 5 difference. First off, this total opened up under 7.5 minus 125, and it's just been sitting there. So there are 7s. You get 7s plus money to the over. Excuse me, 7s plus money to the under, or 7.5 plus money to the over. When we get to the money line here for Gausman, Ben Brown, our first game on the board, we've had 6 cents of movement, not very much towards Ben Brown. There hadn't been any movement until 9 this morning. So lukewarm backing of these Cubbies. So let's take a look at the cash flow then and see where the money lies. This is something that we have not been utilizing at all on this run that we have been on, but it's worth discussing. So let's go. We have here for our first spot on the board 59% of the tickets and 84% of the cash. 84% of the cash on the Cubs. Well, that doesn't appeal to me that much. Now, we have seen movement, though. Circus moved at 9 cents towards the Cubs. I think that's important. We'll take a look at the price difference. And then on the total, we have 77% of tickets on the over and 93% of cash on the over. That's a surprise to me as well. I'm not entirely sure why there would be so much money here, on the over here. So Frosty is on Blue Jays money line. Yankees are the cash cow, and Astros money line must be bet. I'm on the Astros right now. But I will copy and paste that because I still want Rhett Lauder first 3 plus a half. It's a sickness. Elio told me to not do this here, but I am okay. Here we go. So I'm going to copy and paste a couple things, and then we'll take a look at the price difference. Shout out to TV Jones in the house rocking with us. So just under Sharpie's best bets here. He's got Schlittler over 6.5 Ks. I'm going to get 9 legacy flank stake play today. Is the Cincinnati Reds. Ooh, wow. Big balls on 9 legacy. There we go. Okay. Jerry, anyone with intel on Scooball length? Yeah, and I will touch on it here in a second. So, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any concern. I don't think they'll let him go 100, but I don't think there's any concern here. Okay, so let's take a look here at the cash. Oh, sorry, we did the cash. Price difference. Sorry, price difference, and then we can move on here. Price difference, first 5 in full game. So the Cubbies here at Pinnacle are just minus 116. The moves are happening in the legal books, not really the offshores. And first 5, it's minus 116. They are not implying that Ben Brown gives them an advantage. Well, I tell you what here. I want to move on unders. I think that both. Look, I don't want to romanticize Gausman's situation as he thinks this could be his last ever start at Wrigley Field. But I think I'm a huge fan of this, so I have a bias. Ben Brown's been simply spectacular. So why would we not want unders? And why wouldn't we trust these bullpens as well? The Blue Jays bullpen was exhausted, but they didn't go deep at all yesterday, thanks to 21 Savage. So let's just take a look at that first 5 total here. First 5 total. The 4 is really expensive. Let's take a look at this first 3 under, and then we will move on here from this. So first 3 under, and then you could easily get paid for a 7.5 still on this total. The first 3 as expensive as one would guess. You'd have to pay for the 2. Look, I think it's worth it. I think these pitchers look very good here. So I'm not going to pick between a Gausman and Brown. I imagine Philly Eagle Flyer would have tied after 2 innings in this one. And yeah, I'm interested. So I'm in first 3 under, I think, is definitely going to be bet. Then the question is, do we add the full game under? And that would be at 7.5. I'm looking forward to it. This is just great. I mean, Friday afternoon, Wrigley Field, Gossman versus Ben Brown. God, I just can taste the beer already. All right, let's roll on. So 10 bets I've made so far on the MLB board. And there's a few games I'm extremely interested in, and I'm extremely interested in the matinee. Let's roll on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern, Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tigers, Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. So, it's never comfortable being on big favorites. It's not comfortable. It's not it's not something. It's kind of something you just want to do quietly in the dark recesses. But I was trying to figure out how to back Scooball after that poor first start, after coming off the IL. And I made my decision on how to do it. White Sox, Tigers here. We are at Comerica Park, plus 3% runs, plus 0% homers, plus 2% doubles and triples, plus 5% singles. We'll start off. We have Isert, who's going to open for Fetty. At least that's the expectation here. And Fetty is real Jekyll and Hyde. And I've seen him shove at home a few times this year, but he's a very difficult person to ask. And June 14th, his last appearance, 2 2/3. I mean, they don't trust him. He's been the primary before that one. He's been the primary in his last 3 opportunities to pitch. And that first time he's a primary, allowed 8 runs over 3 1/3. Look, I can't sit here and tell you. And Jerry Davis says Schlittler minus 144 to record the win. Never seen a line that big. Oh, Jerry, yeah, I'm trying so hard not to bet Rhett Loudon first 3+1/2, but we'll get to that here in a second. Look, Tariq Scooball is a gamer. He was very upset about that start that he had. Now, remember, he missed 6 weeks due to loose bodies in his elbow. He's the first pitcher to undergo surgery using a nano needle, and that reduced his recovery time. He had 1 rehab start in High A, West Michigan, through just 54 pitches. He went 4 2/3, allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-1 loss to the Guardians, and he's not pleased with that. The White Sox, well, let's go to the bullpen. White Sox have a bullpen advantage over the Tigers, something that we didn't expect coming into this season. White Sox bullpen 3.93 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. Tigers bullpen 4.57 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Those are the last 30 days numbers. Now you see the Tigers bullpen stepping up a little bit. They have been stepping up a little bit. I think that they're sitting there going, look, we do have a chance in this weak ass division. Now the White Sox leading the way 4 games over 500, but you could start this right now. TV Jones says, won't catch me fading the White Sox, especially with the rested bullpen. No Hudson, but Dominguez and Taylor both available, which matters. And Jerry Davis just moved on Scooball plus 122 to win on DraftKings. Well, I don't want to fade the White Sox over 9 innings, but I'm now very comfortable fading the White Sox against a left-handed pitcher because they're just hitting average against lefties right now. Now, that can change. That can obviously change. So what I did was I moved on the Tigers' first 5. And obviously, they're too expensive for first 5 minus a half. And I moved on Tigers first 5 -1 at -109. First 5 -1 at -109. Historically, I've not had a very good ROI on the first 5 -1s, and I've a horrific ROI on full games -2. I haven't bet full game -2 in like 2 years or so, 3 years or so. But look, they're not good bets. First 5 -1 and full game -2. TV Jones says, White Sox have been absolutely abusing left-hand pitching. If you look at their year-long stats, sure. But if you look at their last 30-day stats, or we did the weighted runs created, it was just at 100. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that their average against lefties over the last 30 days. And again, what period of time do you want to use for lefties? That's always up to you. It's up to how you see a situation. Here, I like using last 30 days. And the fact is they've been average against lefties. And we'll go over this again. I will pull it up right now here just so I can see it in front of me here. So let's go 5-19 to 6-19. Now, we had talked about earlier in the year that you should back the White Sox first, a lefty, first 5, any lefty every single time, every opportunity that you get. That's changed. So the White Sox versus lefties right now over the last 30 days are ranked 16th. 103 weighted runs created. They're hitting 235 with a 727 OPS. It's just very average, Trevor. I mean, it's just average. That's all. Now, if we have a vividness bias of them destroying lefties, that's what it is. That's all. So I'm very comfortable here. If this is Trackstar, sorry. Okay, here we go. Trackstar says Scooball and the Tigers need to start stacking wins at home. Or Scooball's out of there. Yeah, I hear that, Trackstar. I mean, you could go. Yeah, I mean, sure. So sure, I can cut that down. I can cut it down too. So if you want, so that was the last 30 days here. Why don't we go? If you want to go the last 15 days, that's fine. We'll do that here. So 6/04. 6/4. So we can do that too. And then I got to move on. But here we go. So we'll go last 15 days. Versus lefties. Weighted runs created, and now they're 19th, Trevor. 98. So whatever. I don't need to go over this anymore. One of the fun things about all the stats is you can kind of massage them to give you the answer that you're looking for. And I'm not looking for the fact that the White Sox are average versus lefties. I don't. So there we go. First 5 -1, -109 for me. Let's roll on. Cincinnati Reds, New York Yankees, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York, where the Yankees are 21-12 at home. Let's get into the weather here in the Yankee Stadium. -6% runs, plus 12% homers, -19% doubles and triples, and -7% singles. Just my 2 cents in the house. Great to see you, TC, my man. And Matty Ice says the top play for him is the Tigers first 5 -1/2 and full game money line together here. So Sick from the Fall says Yankees -1.5 full game for me. I mean, this was a massive, massive line. Let's talk about Rhett Lauder. And I could just stay off of this. I could just stay off of this. But I have an issue in that I think Rhett Lauder is going to be a very good pitcher in Major League Baseball. And it's easy to say for the 7th overall pick in the 2023 draft. I mean, it's easy to say that. It's just that we have no idea what the hell Rhett Lauder is going to do. He misses the entire 2025 season with 3 different injuries. Forearm strain, a left oblique strain, a shoulder issue. They had to pitch him in the Arizona Fall League. And then he comes just to get some innings. So then he comes in and he has a couple really nice starts. He looks pretty good. He gets annihilated on May 2nd. 8 earned runs over 1 1/3 at the Pirates, just destroyed. And then he leaves in his next start with the shoulder discomfort, right shoulder discomfort. And he sits on the IL for a full month, has the 1 rehab start, and he's come back and pitched really well over 2 innings. Now, they've been short innings. But Sunday, June 7th, 3 innings, no earned runs. And that was his first first appearance after the IL stint. Then Saturday, June 13th, 1 earned run over 5 2/3. Yeah, I think he can get me 9 outs, man. And this is the biggest start of his major league career. And you have to ask yourself, do you believe in Rhett Lauder? If you don't, I get it. I completely understand it. Schlittler is an absolute monster. I mean, no one's fading Schlittler. When we cashed this with Jared Jones against Ohtani, we weren't fading Ohtani. All we said was, look, Jared Jones can get me 9 outs. 7-3, 1.82 ERA, 2.84 expected ERA. Remember that game was a 10-9 final score for the Pirates, but it was 0-0 after 3. We have Schlittler looked like he had a bit of a one-start hiccup. He's an absolute monster. An absolute monster. Trackstar says Yankees have been partying with the Knicks, Cincy Reds, and we also have 9 legacy on the Cincinnati Reds. Rod's Wacky, by the way, says bet against White Sox in road games on the money line versus Nail. Starting pitcher whose whip is 1.20 or better. White Sox record since 2024, 4-42. And we already heard from Matty Ice. It's his favorite spot on the board. Robert Franklin says Yankees run line here. So bullpen-wise, Yankees have an enormous advantage. 2.88 ERA, 1.21 whip over the last 30. Reds bullpen 4.74 ERA, 1.47 whip here. And okay, Inside Words is really funny. Inside the Words is really funny. Goon Collector on the Yankees -2.5 here. Inside Words is really funny. So, and again, Mark Sisowski gave a thought process. He was going to do a video on it, but where he thought that Schlittler was going to regress, and then his very next start he allows 5 runs, 4 earned or 4 1/3. But he's only had one other start since April 12th that he's allowed more than 1 run other than that one. So he's been spectacular. So no one's trying to fade Cam Schlittler. But yes, Jerry. Yes. Now, look, I was on the Emerson Hancock belief train last year when he was getting shelled because he was also, I think, a 6th overall draft pick. With this all said and done, nothing has changed here for me. I think I can get 3 outs from Rhett Lauder. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have 18 cents of movement at Bet Online from -250 to -268 towards the New York Yankees. And from a total side of things here, we have the 8.5. So it's climbing. It was at 8 at -110 to the over. Now it's 8.5 at -115 to the over. We've also heard from our guy, Troy Torrance, that this is indeed the cash cow play of the day. 91% of the tickets and 91% of the cash are on the on the New York Yankees. Very public. 75% of the tickets and 89% of cash is on the over. So the over being hammered, it's gone up a half run. The Yankees being hammered as well. So let's shout out our guy, Troy Torrance. Oh, sorry, we're going to have to fix that. I switched us back to our so I can have our video. So we got to fix that, Swiggy, if you don't mind. But yes, the cash cow play of the day from Troy Torrance is the New York Yankees. Okay, so let's roll on here. Swiggy, when you get a chance, if you could fix this, I'll just do this for now. Oh, now I've screwed it up. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's roll on. Goon Collect says this red lineup is terrible. Yankees staying at home, coming off a loss, wind blowing out 12 mile per hour to the short porch, Jimmy, with Schlitty on the mound. Look, I get it. And they're massive, massive favorites because of it. I understand completely. Yeah. So we just, we move forward, and I would like to move forward with the Reds' first 3 plus a half. Now, this has moved towards the Yankees' this first 3 plus a half. This was -115 last evening, and now this morning, this is the Reds' first 3 plus a half. It's now -105. Let's do another check. There's no rush to move on this as this line's moving towards the Yankees. It's not moving that fast. So the Reds' first 3 plus a half is -105. So I can get the 9 outs from Rhett Lauder. John Bennett says the Yankees' high price is bona fide. The Tigers' line is not. I love it. Look, I love all of this. This is fun, man. We're not supposed to sit here and just be yes men and agree with each other. And it's more fun when we don't agree. And I'm not disagreeing with the Yankees being worth it and all this stuff. What I'm saying is this is the most important start of Rhett Lauder's career, the 7th overall pick out of Wake Forest. We didn't see him at all last year. Nobody knows if he's got what. Nobody really knows how good he can be. And I think he can be good. All right, let's roll on here. Next up for us, we head over. Sorry, move over here. To San Francisco Giants, Miami Marlins, Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. We have, first off, we're in Lone Depot Park, so we don't need to worry about, it's this time of year. They're going to keep the roof closed, sticky and hot. We have Landon Roop here. Ye old Bible verses on the jersey. Landon Roop, 4.24 ERA, 1.29 whip, 3.36 expected ERA. And I was a huge backer of Landon Roop. I've bet him. I probably bet Landon Roop more than any other pitcher, basically baseball over the last. I would guess he'd be up there. He'd definitely be in the top 5. And he's paid dividends. He's just paid dividends over and over and over again. I watch him really closely, and he just doesn't look very good. He had the back-to-back starts against the Cubs. So he had the bounce-back start at the Cubs on June 6th. June 1st, he got lit up for 8 earned runs against the Brewers. Had the bounce-back start. And then he went home to face the Cubs again. And it was Javier Assad. They were both seeing the lineup a second time in 5 days. And I thought that Roop would handle it better than Assad, and I was wrong. And it cost me money. So I'm not running to backland and Roop right now. He doesn't look as good as he has in other occasions. And then we have a bullpen day from the Marlins. And Bakar is opening this up here. This Marlins bullpen, and Rod Zwacky bet on Cincinnati on the money line versus AL team scoring 4.9 or more runs a game on the season. Cincinnati's record during 2026, 8-0. And Goon Clark says, I love this slate. Going to be honest, I love it too. I don't know if I love it, but I was really excited. I enjoyed capping it, and there's lots of action. We'll see if we love it, around 9 o'clock tonight. Frosty liking the over here in this one. So the bullpen for the Marlins, 3.61 ERA, 1.24 whip, and shout out to Hino Ball in the house. A bullpen that we trust. Giants bullpen's a bullpen we don't trust. 5.43 ERA, 1.59 whip. And then when we go to the sticks, the Giants are raking. A lot of their players are on the trade block right now, but they're hitting after not hitting for the first 2 months of the year. 283, 833 OPS versus righties. Versus lefties, 277, 838 OPS. You're going to see both of them here in this game. The Marlins are not hitting righties. 239, 709 OPS. So it's Bakar. It's just a bullpen day, Jerry. It's just going to be a bullpen day, and this is a rested bullpen. So there we go. So I did have interest in the first 3 under, but just interest. I didn't bet it last night. We talked about it last night. I didn't move on it. We've had no move on the total. None. This one opening up minus 115 to the over. Actually, this total just came out at BetOnline. I didn't realize that they held off on the total. So this just came out. So there's been no movement here. Let's go to a spot where this has been out for a while. If there's not. Bookmakers move this 2 cents to the over since opening at 8:21 a.m. So not a lot of cash here on this one. And then on the money line, we have no movement at all. Twos is sitting here at plus 106 again. This line's not been out for very long. Michael Piccioni in the house. Great to see you, Michael. We missed you, man. Michael Piccioni in business. It's a Friday, Mike. It's a Friday, Michael. Let's get this money, man. And then let's take a look at the cash flow for this. And I don't think we may not even get the information that we so desire. We do, though. 56% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on the Giants at this point. But this line's not moving towards them. 50% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the over. I don't think it makes sense here for me to do anything. I mean, unless I really have conviction with Landon Roop and the Marlins bullpen, and I don't. If I had a free bet, I'd be on the first 3 under. And then I imagine this is just sitting here at the minus 120 each way because it's not been available for that long, so it's not like the Sharps have moved it. This is an 8. Full game 8, minus 115 to the over. So this should be, and I haven't looked at it, it should be minus 115 to the over and minus 125 to the under. And then if it's being hit by the Sharps, it'll move towards the under. So let's see. It's minus 140 to the under. Wow. That's a little more expensive than I thought. So let's compare it to Isert and Scooball. That's a minus 115 to the under. Their first 3 is minus 125 to the under. Well. Well, let's take a look at Cavalli Jacks. So the Giants game is 8, and it's minus 115 to the over. It's juiced to the over full game, and yet this first 3 is very expensive. Let's take a look at this Nationals Rays spot because this is 15 cents more expensive towards the under. So you would think that the first 3 would be that much more expensive to the under. And this first 3 is 5 cents more expensive. Okay. Now the problem is minus 140 is expensive. Rod White said bet over the total Miami games after win by 6 runs or more over his record since 2025, 11-2. Now the problem is, minus 140, the implied probability is bad. Is it too high? If you could, I guess I'd have to turn it into a 2-up plus money, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I'll have to figure this out on my own time. No point to hem and haw here. But is minus 140 too expensive? And I think the answer is yes. You know what? I know that the answer is yes. It's too expensive. I don't need to ask that. It's too expensive. I mean, if I could get 5 cents off, I would want it. But then if it moved 5 cents in the other direction, wouldn't that make you want to question it? Anytime the line's moving against you. Okay, I'll figure that out on my own time. The solution is on the Marlins here. And we roll on. Next up for us, Washington Nationals, Tampa Bay Rays. We're at the Trop in St. Petersburg. Goon Collector says, I think the Nationals struggle to hit here in the Trop. Colin Gregory played the Nats, team total over 3.5. And Spooner says, Marlins are down to minus 118. Says, want to move on to minus 110. Remember how good the Rays have been in bullpen games? This is the old Rays brass running the Marlins. I think the Marlins have value under minus 120. Look, I agree. I've been high on the Marlins bullpen for 3 years now. Last year and the year before I talked about, and at times that made me money and at times that kind of blew up in my face, but I agree with it. I absolutely agree with it. And Trackstar saying that, Nationals are a good road team and they are really good, 23-14 home. And he says the Rays are a good home team. They're a really good home, 24-9. So this is a tricky cap. Let's get into it though. Cade Cavalli, 3.98 ERA, 1.39 whips, got a 4.37 expected ERA. You're getting exactly what you got last year in that short 48 2/3 stint from Cade Cavalli. And Goon Collector saying wanting to take the under. Let's talk about Cade a little bit more. Last start, June 13th, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, an 8-3 win at home versus the Marlins. His last 2 starts have not been very good. In 10 combined innings, he's allowed 7 earned runs, 11 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 homers, 7 Ks, and 1 walk. He had been running nice, though. And he's very consistent. If you go back to Saturday, April 18th, and you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 starts leading up to that, these last 2 starts that weren't good, June 7th and June 13th. Those 9 starts, he allowed more than 2 earned runs twice. He never allowed more than 3 earned runs. He's just very consistent. He's not a dominant pitcher at this point, but he's very consistent. Now he's been better at home than he's been on the road. And then we have Griffin Jacks. Griffin Jacks, at times, you say, oh, the Rays know exactly what they're doing. They're so smart. Look at this guy, this nobody. 3.68 ERA, 1.36 whip, 4.89 expected ERA. And now we have him pitching very well. So he had a couple rough starts. Late May and then that Monday, June 1st start, 6 earned run over 4 innings at home versus the Tigers. But these last 2 starts have been very good. These bullpens are questionable. That's bullpen 4.59 ERA, 1.39 whip over the last 30. Rays bullpen 5.08 ERA, 1.47 whip over the last 30. It's questionable. And both teams are hitting righties in a very similar fashion. Nats versus righties 246, 739 over the last 30 days, while the Rays versus righties 249, 717. So you have to ask yourself here, where are the advantages? And the Nats are hitting righties slightly harder than the Rays. The Rays are at home. We know that the Nats rake lefties. So is there an advantage with Griffin Jacks over Cade Cavalli? And if there is, it's a slight advantage. So last night I had Rays first 5 with a bunch of question marks, and I didn't move on it. The books weren't telling me that there was any advantage back in the first 5. If you wanted to raise maybe back the full game. And again, like Trackstar is saying, I don't want to fade the Nationals. I don't want to fade the Nationals on the road. I don't want to fade the Rays at home. So it's tricky. And we're going to take a look at the price difference first 5 full game, and we'll take a look at the cash flow. But the Rays, so it's moved a little bit back in the Rays' favor. This one opened up at minus 125 yesterday at 1:51 p.m. And then there was a 11-cent move immediately to the Nationals, or within 31 minutes. Since then, it's come back to the opening line price. That's all. It's come back. So, if we look and see all the money on the Nationals, which we won't, I mean, I would be shocked to see, then we could say, I think that the Rays are live. We have a half-run move to the under. It opened up under 8 minus 125. Now it's under 8 at minus 128. So there's a lot of 7.5s on the board. Then we'll look at cash flow, and then we'll look at price difference here. Warbuck says, do we fade Tampa Bay coming in from the West Coast? I mean, there's another possibility here, and another angle that should be discussed here. I mean, I don't know if they need a straight fade here, personally. I mean, it's not like they played yesterday. So, no, I don't put too much emphasis into it. So Goon Collector says, my issue is the game should be a pick 'em. I mean, Goon Collector, the Rays are 24-9 at home. It doesn't matter that the Nats are a good road team. They're the best home team in Major League Baseball. If you're going to be a pick 'em against the Rays at home, you better have an ace on the mound, or you better be a team that's 15 or 20 games over 500, and Nats are 3 games over 500. So I don't think it. I think the Rays should probably be bigger favorites. And then when we get to the cash flow here for this one, we have 65% of tickets on the Rays, 59% of cash on the Nats, 72% of tickets on the over, and 90% of cash on the over. It's a lot of money coming in off the over. Yeah, Goon Collector, but they had a day off. They didn't play yesterday. Unless I'm missing something. Am I wrong there? I thought they didn't play yesterday. It's not like they had this huge flight over. I mean, look, it's not I could stay off of this, but let's just look at the price difference. Let's look at the price difference first 5 in full game here. So here we go. And the Rays are minus 121 full game and minus 125 first 5. I think that the under could be in play. All this money on the over. So I'm going to take off the Rays first 5. I don't believe that there is necessarily an advantage there. I would love to see a 10 to 15 cent difference on the Rays first 5, and I bet them right now. Because Griffin Jacks has looked good last couple starts. Cade Cavalli's looked average. What I will leave this on is a possible first 3 under. Possible. And then a possible full game under. So, again, the bullpens are a bit of a problem, but they're a bit of a problem. First 3 under is a possibility here. And let's just quickly, I know that we did look at that price, but I'd like to look at it one more time. Here, the Rays Nationals, we have the full game under 8 juiced, and the first 3 under is minus 150. It's really expensive. That's very expensive. Both the Rays Nationals first 3 under and the Giants Marlins first 3 under are very expensive. Steve Miller says Mizrowski gets hit up today. Our weather plays a part, but the Brewers first 5 minus a half has moved against them. Says we will get buyback from the public, but I've seen tracking these moves, and the original move is always big. Look, and Lucky Lefty, man, great to see you, man. Hope you and the family are doing great. OG low bagger right there, Lucky Lefty. Steve Miller, I can't wait to talk about the game, and I hope Trevor is still here for the game because it's such a fascinating game. The fact that line opens up at minus 145 is insane. Absolutely. Oh, Trevor's right here. Okay. Trevor, I can look forward to talking about that opening line here because it's. Oh, we're here. Okay, so look, let's move on to it. 7:15 p.m. Eastern, the Milwaukee Brewers, Atlanta Braves, Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's roll. Justin McKelvey says Braves going to get Mizrowski. Now this is the best. Is it 9 starts that's happened in Major League history? 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Best 8-start run anyone's ever had in Major League history. I mean, that's insane to say that out loud in a sport with such a rich history. Mizrowski's allowed 1 earned run in his last 8 starts. 1 earned run in his last 8 starts, and this line opens up at minus 145. It's absolutely nuts. Kyle Macedo says the dead arm might be a factor. After a complete game shutout, they might pull Miz early. 95 pitches he threw to get 15 strikeouts. That's all, 95. His season high is 101. WT in the house. Great to see you, buddy. Great to see you, my man. I always imagine you living a great life, man. Down Costa Rica. Nice to see you. Nicholas Henn says Mizrowski to record the win at plus 115. Why would they give you plus money on that? I mean, isn't it crazy, Nicholas? Kyle Macedo, thank you, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Kyle, my man, thank you for your support. That means a ton, man. And TB Jones says Braves got 1 off Peralta, 2 off Nolan McLean, 0 off Davis Martin. They haven't been hitting right-handed pitching for weeks. And Jerry Davis says Perez is the reason for the opening line in his opinion. This is an insane line. But let's talk. We don't need to say much more about Mizrowski. It's the finest performing. He's pitching better than Pedro's best season in Boston. I mean, 1.34 ERA, 0.74 whip, 2.04 expected ERA, 131 strikeouts over 87 innings. The guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable. TV Jones says under in Brewers, 4-2 Brewers win. So let's talk about Martin Perez. You guys know I've always been high on Perez. I'm always high on these soft tossing veteran lefties. I don't know why that is. It's the sickness. 2.90 ERA, 1.05 whips, got a 4.02 expected ERA. If you watch Martin Perez pitch and then you close your eyes and open them again, it looks like Jose throwing 59 out there. It's not very impressive to watch. Now, Jose, don't get me wrong. When he throws 59, it's impressive. Big leg kick, all the bravado. It's impressive. But when a major league pitcher throws that slow, it's not impressive. Last start for Martin Perez, 5 1/3, 1 earned run, 3-1 win at the Mets. Look, the guy is Mr. Consistent. He handles everything really well. Don't forget, though. So when we go to the bullpen, the Braves bullpen's been excellent. 2.68 ERA, 1.11 whip. Brewers bullpen, 3.56 ERA, 1.25 whip. Both bullpens are very trustworthy, very, very good. The elephant in the room is Mizorowski. Let's call that the African elephant in the room. The Indian elephant in the room is, look what the Brewers are doing against left-handed pitching. They are destroying them. Now, I know 3 of those games came in Summerlin, but over the last 30 days, the Brewers are hitting .308 with an .853 OPS versus left-handed pitching. No, Justin, he threw 59, right? He threw 59. We tested him. Because I thought I tried to bet him that he couldn't throw over 60. God, maybe did he throw 62? I can't remember, but we tested him. We'll get that. When he comes back next week, we'll get that tape out. He's got a big leg kick. He's got a big leg kick. Okay. So let's go back to the line history here in this one. Let's also take a look at Ballpark Pile just to get an idea of the expectations here. At Truist, -1% runs, +1% homers, -5% doubles, triples, +1% singles. So nothing big. We have a move to the over. This one opened 7 -120 to the under. Now it's -115 to the over. We cashed on the under yesterday, but that was, Brewers unders are great. They're such a professional ball club. Also betting the Brewers live when they're down. The Brewers are a huge boon to anybody's bankroll, unless you don't like them. And if you don't like them, they cost you money. So how on earth could this open up at -145? It can't. If it opens up at -145, it means they're manipulating the market. They want money on the Brewers. So then it moves 30 cents. It moves more than that. It moves 34 cents. So at 1 this morning, it was a -179. We discussed that happening, right? We said that was going to happen. We said we'd show up here, be -185 on its way to 200. Well, what happened was at 9:36 a.m., there was a huge buyback on the Braves. Huge. Insane. Look, I'm not going to fade Mizorowski, but I can't bet into this market. I can't do it. So I can't do it. Turnbuckle Tommy says it was supposed to be Mizorowski versus Sale originally. They changed it to Perez yesterday. I never saw Sale, but let's say that's the case. So let me ask you then. This line didn't come out till 5:35 p.m. Eastern, so that's not the case. If they had Sale in the afternoon, because I knew it was Perez. So if it came out at 5:35 p.m. Eastern, that's why. But let's say it was. So let's say the -145. So at 6 p.m. we all knew it was Perez. It was -160. I don't put that in the play. And if we did put it in the play, do you think it's only 18 cents different, Martin Perez versus Chris, Sale? So this is insane. This whole thing is absolutely insane. Trackstar says Sale was up to pitch facts. That's all well and good. All well and good. I was capping this game yesterday afternoon, and it was clear that Martin Perez was the pitcher. He was listed everywhere. Kyle Macedo says, if the books want us to take Milwaukee, do we just back the Braves then? Look, these are the spots that make capping so much fun. So this show is just about giving you guys information, right? And you get information from me, you get information from cappers in the chat. This is not about, this is a choose your own adventure, man. My adventure does not include fading Mizorowski, but my adventure also doesn't include backing a favorite in this market. That was the answer last night when I said, "Why is this number the way it is?" The reply, I forget who it was, and it was a fair reply. It was a fair response. He said, "Well, because the Brewers on the road where they're 20-12." So, yeah, I'm going to stay off of the game, and like. It's just, this is so wild to me. This line is just so wild. Like, if we go to first three, we just talked about the opportunity of Lauder versus Schlittler, and you get the first three plus a half of -105 here. The Braves first three plus a half's -150. That's even a little shorter than I thought. Okay, I'm off. I'm off the game. I can't get involved. I wish it was moving towards the under. 462 says if you're fading Mizorowski, you need a serious psychiatric evaluation. Or maybe you're just a fucking gambler, man. Maybe you're just a fucking gambler. And those guys I love. So I cheer anybody on that's going to go out and be a gambler from the Wild Wild West, man. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board for me is Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Randy Vasquez versus Jacob deGrom. Now, we have the roof closed, which is great for run-suppressing weather. I wanted the unders in this game. It just, when I was putting my action in after the show, it moved 10 cents to the over. And I was like, okay, let's just see what. Now, this morning when I looked again, it hadn't moved from that 10-cent move to the over. But we'll go over all of this. We have Randy Vasquez going up against Jacob deGrom here. Prime Virginia, Braves plus 1.5 or Braves first 5 money line. Big balls on Prime Virginia, man. Big balls. Texas first 5 run line for coin at -120. I bet that first 5 -107 here. Top Set says, if you believe the books, they got heavy action on the Brewers early. They panicked and got buyback. Line tells me they don't know either. No, but Top Set, what about the opening line? What about the opening line? -145. For a pitcher who's allowed 1 earned run in his last 8 starts. And the best 8 start run in Major League history. What about the opening line -145? Isn't that tells me a lot here? DC Cap, thank you, buddy. Thank you, my friend. Love Cabin with you, DC. Thank you. So here, let's roll. We have Randy Vasquez, another soft tosser. I mean, look at Randy Vasquez and Michael McGreevy. What the hell are you guys going to do with these two pitchers? They have really good numbers, but their expected numbers are horrific. 3.63 ERA, 1.32 whip for Randy Vasquez, which is almost exactly it's the exact same whip he threw last year over 133 2/3. So we were getting consistency from him. He's got a 6.26 expected ERA here. Jerry Davis says it's a trap, but I have to go over. Well, that correlates with the market, Jerry, perfectly. I bet you that cashes, Jerry. I bet you that's the reason for all of our suspicions. So Turnbuckle Tommy's on Brewers first 5 -1/2. Yeah. I mean, if we didn't look at the line, I would, and it was Mizorowski versus Martin Press, I would say, well, that's going to be really expensive. But we've looked at the line and it's not expensive. Okay, here we go. Turnbuckle Tommy said Braves are 22-12 at home. Yes, but we just said the Brewers are 20-12 on the road. I mean, there's no difference. Okay, back to business here. We talked about Randy Vasquez. He's been very average last few starts. 2 earned runs over 5 in his last start. Start before that at home versus the Mets, 4 earned runs over 4. Start before that, June 2nd, was pretty good, 2 earned runs over 5. Now, that was at the Phillies. He faced the Phillies in back-to-back starts. The first one was run-suppressing weather, and he still got touched for 4 earned runs over 5 2/3. 3 earned runs over 4 1/3. He's just being average, very average. Shout out to Wine Time Sports in the house. Then we have Jacob deGrom on the other side. 3.17 ERA, 0.99 whip. He's got a 3.56 expected ERA. He started the season, missed that first start due to the neck pain, and he's been really good at times. And then he had a clear hiccup. 3 of 4 starts, he got lit up between May 5th and May 22nd. He has appeared to have bounced back here. His last home start, 10-0 win at home versus the Guardians, doesn't allow a run over 6 innings. His last start overall at Boston, 2 earned runs over 6 innings. He's pitching well. Over his last 4 starts, he has gone 23 innings. He's allowed 4 earned runs. He has struck out 25 and he has walked 4. I trust him. I want him. Turnbuckle Tommy says Rangers aren't touching right-handed pitching. Vasquez has solid numbers against this lineup. Turnbuckle Tommy on the first 5 under 4. It makes sense to me. I was planning on betting the first 3 under in the full game under. This is also an under that Rod Zawacki really liked as well. Nasty Nate, I'm moving me personally here, and I wanted the night and the marinade to talk it out, but I'm going to move on the first 3 under and quite likely the full game under. That is my plan here. Talk Sports with JT in the house. Man, we've missed you. God, great to see you. Great to see you, man. Football season on its way. Football season on its way. Okay, sorry, I got to get back to business here, and I'm going too slow through this card because I am in. These are fun games to cap, man. This is a fun card. Okay, so then we go to the bullpens. Padres bullpen's been absolutely incredible. And I was saying, when I'm like, okay, I'm going to bet an under on every single Guardians game as soon as the line comes out. Why am I not doing that for the Padres? They're the worst hitting team in the league with the best bullpen in the league. Now it's because at times they pull out those, vets that we don't trust in Giolito and Walker Buehler, who are both pitching quite well. Spooner's on the under 7.5 minus 118. That's my plan here. And I was close to betting it last night, and then I told you guys about the move to the over. So I'm on the Rangers first 5 minus a half and minus 107. I want the first 3 under and the full game under. Also, from our guy, the Godfather, in Fort Worth, Texas, he's going to the game tonight with his son. And it is DeGrom City Connect bobblehead giveaway. They're in the City Connect jerseys. It's his bobblehead giveaway. And the Godfather says DeGrom will shove. DeGrom will shove. Turnbuckle Tommy says Rangers have 23 plate appearances versus Vasquez with a team average of minus 150 and 567 OPS. Okay, so let's go through the line history here and then move past this one. We have 7 cents of movement towards the Rangers. That has not moved. That's sitting at minus 155. Is that really not? No, that was at 10 p.m. last night. We talked about this line at minus 155. So it moved a cent and then it came back. So very little movement there. We'll look at the price difference for first 5. And then in the total here, we have another 5-cent move to the over. That move happened 12 minutes ago. Huh. I don't know. I think I got to let it go. I think I got to let the unders go. Now, I know that I'm going to let it go at least for a few hours. I know that over 7s appeal to gamblers. But it's another 15 cents of movement. I mean, I just makes me uncomfortable. Let's take a look at the cash flow. Maybe that will help explain some of this. When we get to the cash flow, we have here we go. 78% of tickets and 94% of cash on the Rangers, and the line's not moving. Makes me nervous. 82% of tickets and 87% of cash on the over. Okay, that helps. Now we can explain why it's moving slightly. I'm back. The whole public thinking these guys are gas cans. Of course. I should have put that together. Of course. Now, no one thinks DeGrom's a gas can, but they don't think he's as good as he once was, and they're right. And they think Vasquez is a gas can. Now, remember, the issue with Vasquez is left-handed bats. I mean, Spooner's talked about it often, that Vasquez can't get lefties out, or he has a tough time doing it. So this is the lineup. We're going to have Jock Peterson, Brandon Nimmo, Josh Smith, and Osuna. That's a really nice lineup for Vasquez. Okay, I'm back, baby. I'm back. Okay, let's take a look here at the line difference. The Rangers are minus 156, full game. First 5, they're minus 190. Minus 189. Wow. The first 5 minus half, I got it minus 107, it's minus 120. Well, bet the Rangers first 5 minus a half with us. Come on. Sometimes you just want the books to say, you're right, my friend. And then like Spanky, you don't need to watch the game. You can go out for a nice dinner. But that's not me. I sweat this shit out with a bottle of Kraken. Voodoo Ranger says Miz was minus 230 versus Painter in Philadelphia at home. Is Perez in that line that much worse? Is the road that big of a deal? Just speculation thoughts. Voodoo Ranger, it's insane. And I will not bet into a market like that unless I'm fading the favorite. And I'm afraid to do that. All right. So Rangers first 5 -1/2, bet it. The books are saying you are right. Now, it doesn't mean we get paid, but it means that we can have high confidence. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board here, 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians, Houston Astros. Everybody in the chat was on the over when we talked about this last night. I told you guys that I'm going to bet the under in every single Guardians game. 2-1 doing it so far with Ramirez out of the lineup. Topset made a good point. He said, I think you would isolate the Guards team total under since the line was juiced to the over. But I told him that line was not. In all the offshores I'm looking at, juiced to the over, it was juiced to the under. But God, Elio makes us a better group, better capper. Shout out to our guy, Topset. Robert Franklin's on the Astros money line, and so am I. I got the Astros money line at -118. And I'm pretty comfortable with the whole situation here, and we got to speed up. So let's roll through this one. I'm on the under 8.5, -115, and I'm on the Astros -118. We have Tanner Bybee, 3.96 ERA, 1.18 whips, got a 4.69 expected ERA. I really like him. Now, as you can see from the graphics, that he's pitched better at home, and he should be back to almost every home start. The problem was he wasn't getting any production and any help. He was 2-7. They were losing all of his starts here. They lost. They win some low. Look at these games that they win: 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. I mean, last game was 3-2. Stacks play today is right here. Thank you for that. I have that up in my top of the page, but the pages of notes are getting just so ridiculously long with all these starts now. I got to do something about it. Stacks play today, number 1 yonder. Big Bat Alvarez. Stacks play today, number 1 Alvarez over 1.5 bases -110. Stacks. Voodoo Ranger, I'm right with you, and we're all still learning. We're all just trying to get better every day. And love capping with you, Voodoo. You'd be another OG low bagger. Voodoo be rocking with me since Costa Rica days. That's what we're trying to do, and it's happening. We see it happening. We see the consistency. That's the most important thing to me is consistency, because if you fall apart like I was doing in MLB, there's consequences, and you can lose everything. And I don't mean bankroll. I mean everything. So I'm a big believer in Bybee. I'm also a believer in Tatsuya Umai. And when he was sat for a month because he wasn't handling being in America well, I thought that's okay. Give these pitchers that are coming from Asia and spent their whole life out there some time to acclimate. I had no problem with it. He's having a problem with the pitch clock. He said the mounds were doing, all these things were bothering him. That's fine. Then he comes back after a month off. He gets lit up for 6 runs over 4 innings. And then he has 3 really good starts in a row, and we were backing him. And I felt like, God, when Sasaki, Umai were pitching so well, I was like, oh, yeah. I told you guys I was ahead of the curve. And then they both get fucking destroyed in their last starts. And I'm like, okay, shut up, man. Shut up. So here we go. We have the last start. He lasts 2/3 of an inning. Luinder Avila against Tatsuya Umai, 2 pitchers that I believe in, 2 pitchers that were getting better and better every start. I move on the first 3 under in the full game under, and there's 14 runs scored in the first inning, and I look like an absolute ass clown. Now that's capping. That stuff happens. You get slapped in the face. Turnbuckle Tommy says, Astros money line in my pocket too. Play for him. Favorite bet on the board. I love the bet too. And when we get to the bullpens, the Astros bullpen's been unbelievable. Absolutely elite over the last little while. They started the first 6 weeks, they were worst bullpen in baseball. The Guardians bullpen is so trustworthy, such a strong bullpen. Both bullpens you can trust very, very easily. And I'm on the full game under. I came close to adding, a first 3 under, something of that sort, but I've not been doing that. And I think I should just keep it clean with these unders here. So let's get into the line history, and we'll touch on the cash flow. It's sitting here under 8.5 -115. Exact. It's not moved a cent since this opened up at 1:51 p.m. So I'm hoping that we look and see a bunch of money on the over. I've not looked at it. Then we have this 12-cent move towards the Astros. They're -125 now. That's great. There had been a little bit of buyback, but then 8-cent move at 8:45 a.m. towards the Houston Astros. Let's take a look at the cash flow, and then let's take a look at the first 5 here. Cash flow wise, we have, oh no, 55% of the tickets on the over and 93% of cash on the under. It's a lot of money on the under, and the books don't seem too concerned. 52% of the tickets on Cleveland and 95% of the cash on Cleveland is insane as this line move moves, away from them. Okay, let's roll on. Jam says that first rounder give me bad vibes. Yeah, I know that happened last night, but I'm sure you would have cashed it if Soriano was pitching. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it was just bad luck. Bad luck with the starting pitcher switch. You were on the right bet. I wouldn't put too much into it, but I feel you. Okay, so with all this being said, I'm not touching anything. I'm on the full game under 8.5. I'm on the Astros money line. Very comfortable with it all. Tatsuya, I need him to bounce back. I hope that he can. Why wouldn't he be able to do that against this weak-ass Guardians lineup? 223, 641 OPS versus righties. Let's roll on. St. Louis Cardinals, Kansas City Royals. Shout out to Noah Cameron and the Royals for getting us paid yesterday. It didn't look great off the hop, but then they came up and started delivering. Kauffman Stadium, plus 3% runs, plus 15% homers, plus 4% doubles and triples, and minus 5% singles. Then we have 2 pitchers, Michael McGreevy and Seth Lugo, who have expected ERAs that are very high and numbers that are really good. Other than that, Michael L. in the house, White Sox money line and the under, Astros money line and the under, Angels money line and the over, all parlayed $10 for 710 for Michael L. Go get it. Oh, Jam, I feel you, but for me, I cash more first 3 unders when first 5s go over. I know that I will stick to it, but I have opened up slightly. I bet 2 first 5 unders this year. I bet 2 in the last 2 weeks. Cashed them both, and I said I was going to stop betting them. I didn't bet them last year. I accidentally bet 1 early in the year because it was just, my subconscious just did it, and I lost that one. But I love first 3 unders. I'm not going to change unless my record and the stats tell me to. Back to business. Michael McGreevy, 3-5, 2.99 ERA, 1.11 WHIP's got a 5.61 expected ERA. It's just been this elephant in the room every time we talk about him. Is this expected ERA is so poor, but he just keeps delivering. Last 3 starts, it's professional. I mean, he. Some people talk about how that he reminds him of Greg Maddux. I don't think we should. I mean, when you see Greg Maddux now and you look at him, this guy was the best pitcher in baseball. He's such a dumpy, non-athletic superstar. Phenomenal pitcher. And I don't want McGreevy. It's just not fair to Maddux. McGreevy can earn that shit. But so 3 straight starts for McGreevy, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. He's very, very good, very accountable. And even at the Twins are destroying righties, and he held them to 2 earned runs over 6 innings. He's very, very good. Turnbuckle Tommy says Rockies team total over, second favorite play today. We're going to go over that here in a second. Spooner says Maddux is too far. He's 2016 Hendricks. Yes, I like that. Spooner's always the voice of reason. Seth Lugo, 2-4, 3.86 ERA, 1.35 WHIP, 5.32 expected ERA. So they both have these rough expected ERAs, and we know the Sharps love fading, pitchers that they perceive to have been lucky. Seth Lugo also coming off the 7-day IL for the concussion. He says that he was fine and, nothing to worry about. And there's no limitation or anything on him here. That happened versus the Rangers in his last start. He's not looked very good. I trust McGreevy more than Seth Lugo, but we do have Lugo at home. At the time, he'd allowed 1 earned run over 3 1/3 in his last start at home. And that was the second time him seeing the Rangers in a short period. Home start before that, 3 earned runs over 6 1/3 versus the Mariners. That was on May 24th. Then 2 earned runs over 6 innings at home versus the Red Sox on May 18th. He had a couple hiccups before that, 4 earned runs and 5 earned runs at home versus the Guardians and then at the White Sox. But that was mid-May, and this is now mid-June. The Royals bullpen's trash, 5.53 ERA, 1.59 WHIP. The Cardinals bullpen slipping a little bit, but being pretty consistent this year. I should now, looking at the graphic, I should say more than slipping a little bit. I mean, they're not looking very good. And Jam saying Seth Lugo giving up leads here. And then the Royals are starting to hit all of a sudden. 243, 696 OPS. That doesn't include last night. I'd already, because I had to have the stats prepared for the night show, so that doesn't include last night. So that's up until the 18th. But again, their stats weren't in. Whatever. The Cardinals are hitting 257.30 OPS, but they've slipped a little bit. I mean, I wonder, does this Royals lineup heat up now? Let's take a look at this line history. We have 4 cents of movement towards McGreevy. We'll look at the difference first 5 full game. This opened up at minus 113 and moved to minus 128 by 1 this morning. That's a 15-cent move in the first 12 hours the line was available. Then it came all the way back to minus 111. Now it's back at minus 117, but that does not give me confidence on the St. Louis Cardinals unless I had it on my own, which I didn't. Then we have an 8.5, flat 8.5. Now this is a 9 minus 120 to the over. It's scary to get in the way of that. Jam, I'm looking for the first 300 in the full game under in that Cubbies game. So let's take a look at the cash flow and then the price difference first 5 and full game here for Royals Cardinals. We have 61% of tickets on St. Louis, 84% of the cash on Kansas City. Interesting. 66% of tickets on the over and 91% of cash on the over. Very, very, very interesting. And then when we get to the price difference here, we have the Cardinals at minus 116 full game. First 5 minus 110. Look at that. Wow. They're saying it's, I mean, I don't want to fade McGreevy, but look at this. I mean, they've lost 4 of his last 5 starts. Well, and that's an important point, Robert Franklin. Yes, because Witt left the game. You're right. That's an important point. I mean, I thought the feeling last night was that he would not be in. But that is a crucial point. So, look, I have some interest in the Royals now. And then Witt is crucial. Okay, and we'll go from there. Spooner on the Cards, full game at minus 118. Wow, aren't these games so much fun to cap? God, it feels like I'm back within this. I want to go back to our 5-hour shows. We just sit here and beat this, but it's not. Let's keep rolling here. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 38-37, 18-18 on the road at the Colorado Rockies. 28-47, 14-20 at home. Shout out to Jose Perez in the house. AOD in the house. What up, AOD, my man? So we heard from Tommy, and Turnbuckle Tommy says, where was it here? Rockies team total over is his second favorite play on the board. Says Chandler is going to get torched his first time at Coors. Rockies are smashing right-handed pitching. And then he said Cardinals money line is his third favorite bet on the board for Turnbuckle Tommy. Robert Franklin also on Morocco money line here. If you guys want to talk about your World Cup action, you have to put it in the chat because we don't have time for it here because I've got WNBA. And on these Friday mornings, you're going to get my full CFL card here as well. Top set said cards have to be decided. I don't feel that way, Elio. I mean, I don't feel that way at all. And now, Elio, again, he can handle the fact that he just made a nice cash with the Royals' first 3 yesterday, and he's going to get away from it. But 61% of the tickets are on the Cardinals and 16% of the cash. So, I mean, the Royals are more expensive first 5, implying that a mix between Lugo maybe having an advantage, but also that's probably predicated on the fact that the Royals bullpen's so bad. I see it a little differently. But let's get back to business here. So many people have heard on this over in this Chandler Freeland start. And, you know, when the total opens up at 12.5, they're saying the same thing as you guys. We think this is going to be a highly volatile over game. And then when it moves a full run to the under, and this could end up at an 11. Both Heritage and bookmakers heavily juiced to the under 11.5. Let's see what Penny's doing with this one. I would be nervous, honestly. I would be nervous about this spot. This is also juiced to the under 11.5 at Pinnacle. So the line doesn't help that. But let's talk about the weather first. And let's roll through in our usual situation here. We have Coors Field plus 37% runs, plus 27% homers, plus 25% doubles and triples, and plus 20% singles. We have Bubba Chandler. I was pretty excited about watching him pitch this year, and immediately I was like, he doesn't look like he did last year. I don't know if he's overthinking things or uncomfortable. Spooner said Lugo just took the 110 off the dome. Yeah, I mean, but you've watched his interviews. This guy just seems like a vet who's taken many off the dome. He said he was fine, but I hear that. That's a fair. It's a fun angle that you have. Psychological situational angle. Those are the ones I love. Bubba Chandler has looked better of late. His last 2 starts, he allowed 2 earned runs in each. I was telling you guys that something just didn't look right about him. And over that period, he had some tough starts. He wasn't going deep in the games. 4 innings, April 23rd, 6 earned runs. 5 innings, April 29th, 3 earned runs. 5 innings, May 5th, 2 earned runs. 5 innings, May 10th, 2 earned runs. 3 innings, May 16th, 4 earned runs. I mean, he just wasn't going to. Between May 16th and June 2nd, 3 of his 4 starts, he allows 4 earned runs. But the last 2 have been better. There's no doubt about that. They have been better. Kyle Freeland, 7.98 ERA, 1.70 whip, 6.06 expected ERA. I was talking last night about how if you want to bet Kyle Freeland, you should just, move on to the next game and not bet. And then, Rod Zawacki said, friends don't let friends bet Kyle Freeland. So Freeland had a great start to the year. He's placed on the 15-day IL with the shoulder inflammation. He comes back and he just gets annihilated every start. He had 1 good start at home versus the Brewers. That's it. He had an okay start at home versus the Rangers May 20th. Other than that, he's just getting lit up in smoke. There's Rod Zwacky. He says, bet under the total on Kyle Freeland starts when playing against a marginal winning team. Winning percentage 51-54. The unders record in his career 28-9. Yeah. So we have 2 bullpens that are trash. Rockies bullpen 6.73 ERA, 1.80 whip. We have Pirates bullpen 5.11 ERA, 1.46 whip. You have the Rockies, as Tommy was saying, raking against righties, 263, 802 OPS. And the Pirates versus lefties, 265, 754 OPS. Luchace Fox says, betting Freeland will free you from your money and land. Medieval on us. So, and Jerry Davis says, sorry, I think Chandler coming off Sacramento bounces back here. I think this is a 4-2 or 5-3 game. Interesting. Now, that wasn't in Sacramento. That was in Summerlin. That's that's Kyle Freeland, you mean? Sorry, Freeland was just in Summerlin, not Bubba. Bubba was just in Miami and then Atlanta, Houston. Okay. Wine Time's going to bet the Rockies. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at this line history a little bit more. We talked about the total, but let's talk about the money line, and then let's talk about the cash flow, and then let's touch on the first 5 price difference. When we get to the money line, we've had 6 cents of movement towards the Pirates from minus 130 to minus 136. When we take a look at the cash flow for this one, we have we have 81% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on Pittsburgh. That's astonishing. You have 54% of tickets, but 94% of cash on the over, and this is dropped. Look, I can't bet the under here, but I'm not going to bet the over. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I mean, it's just, God. And I'm being selfish now. I'm like, dude, I really going to have to follow Bubba Chandler and Kyle Freeland and hope that they don't get destroyed. Huh. Yeah, I'm with Mark. I'm leaning towards pass, but look at all these lines, all these totals coming in, all these under bets from all these angles from Rod. So I'm going to write. God, I can't do it, man. It makes me sick. Like, I honestly feel sick just thinking about it. But I'm going to keep looking at this under here. All right, let's roll on. God, who wants to bet? I should just stay off of it. It makes me. I feel sick. Look at the Rockies against righties, smashing them. Wow. Okay. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board for us, LA Angels versus the Athletics. Now, we expect Jose Soriano to pitch here. He was a late scratch, which cost me $400. But Very disappointing. I was a forward AOD, man. You know that, man. I got wheels. Wish I had more wheels, but I got wheels. So we have Springs going up against Soriano. Now, I wanted to fade Soriano. In Sacramento, and I still do. The problem is, by fading Soriano, you have to back Jeffrey Springs. So he just pitched in Summerlin, 6 earned runs over 4 innings. Start before that was in Sacramento, 5 earned runs over 5 innings versus the Brewers. Now, the Angels are not the Brewers. That's easy. Landed a tree in the house. We have June 3rd, 4 earned runs over 3 2/3 at the Cubs. Dabby Cab in the house. What up, Dabby? So look, I can't back Springs. I can't do it here. But the Angels should be a nice opportunity for him to get right. But it's not like the Rockies were hitting lefties. You're good, Jerry. No worries, my man. So Angels bullpen's pitching really well. It's a shock to all of us. A's bullpen 5.20 ERA, 1.34 WHIP have been struggling. When we get to righties for the A's, they're hitting them okay, not with much power, hitting lefties much harder, and the Angels aren't hitting lefties at all. And back to Soriano here. If you go through Soriano's starts, he's not had one in a very offensive weather situation. And I think we can take advantage of that. Now, we want to take advantage of that with Gage Jump on the mound. And now you guys all know. Now everybody knows. So we've had a 3-cent move towards the Angels from plus 145 to plus 142. And then on the total side of things here, we have a 10. You know, it's a low total. A 7-cent move to the over. Oh, damn, Warbucks. I wish that was just listed pitchers scratched off the parlay. Huh. Turnbuckle Tommy says Angels ranked number 2 versus fastball, and Spring throws the 4-seam 44% of the time. We have the Gorkle in the house. What up, Gorky, my man? Rod's Wax says bet against Jeffrey Springs on the money line as a home favorite of minus 110 or higher. Springs records in 2025 season 2-10. Chill Will in the house. So I want to fade Soriano without backing Springs. And I think we can do that by just focusing on the A's team total. And that's what I think we should do. Just focus on the A's team total. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have... where is the Athletics game? We have 75% of tickets on the Athletics, 74% of cash on the Angels, 62% of tickets on the under, and 53% of cash on the under. That's shocking to me. Spooner says, I haven't heard how you think the Mike Troutless Angels are going to score. I mean, what are the Rockies' numbers versus left-handed pitching? And let's just see that here. So when we did the last 15 days here, the Rockies had a 96 weighted runs created. The Angels 85. You take Trout out of it, off the line, probably 75 or so. Does that make you trust Springs? The Rockies aren't hitting lefties. The Brewers were, and the Brewers got to him for 5 earned runs in 5 innings, 2 home runs, and 8 hits. The Cubs got to him for 4 earned runs over 3 2/3. The Cubs are raking lefties. So look, it's just very hard to trust Springs. They're telling us that we should do that. I think, okay, I want to fade Soriano. We don't need to sit here and hum and haw. It would be the A's team total over would be my focus here. But I hear what you're saying. It's very valid, Spoons. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, this is Dougie Y's free bands play of the day. And I doubled down on it. We have the roof closed in Chase Field, which is nice. We have the Canuck Michael Soroka on the hill. There is our guy, Razor Sharp picks in the house. 40.09 units. That's incredible. Was that 1 unit bets? Or do you have, is that with max bets? Because 40.09 with 1 unit bets in 9 days would take away all my thunder from 49 units in 13 days. Coin says, is it fair to say Kurtz is a top 5 bat in Major League Baseball currently? Yes. Well, I said that pretty fast. I should probably think about that and see who he's up against. But he's very, very close here. Rob Free says Red Sox is an auto fade. Boston is broken here. So let's go back here to this Twinkies Diamondback spot. Connor Prelup has never thrown more than 88 innings. Never. He has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. I believe he's 25 years old. And here we have June 13th. Prelup has an average start for him. That's what it's become. 4 of his last 5 starts, 5 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 4 earned runs. Horrible. He does not look like that guy that we were backing nonstop to begin his career. He looks like somebody that should be faded. Then we have Michael Soroka, 3.11 ERA, 1.07 whip, 3.82 expected ERA. Oh, okay, so different size units. Okay. But still incredible. I just thought if it was because I just when I saw 40 units and I thought, well, because this last 2 weeks been the best run of my entire life, and it sounded like you were just having a whole fucking 9 days up 40 units. Back to here though, I think that Soroka should be backed. That Prelup has a problem, and the only thing that was holding me back was the Twins versus righties, 266, 785 OPS. It was holding me back. But the Diamondbacks are hitting lefties harder than the Twins are hitting righties. The Twins bullpen is a problem. The Diamondbacks bullpen is very, very strong. So with it all put together here, I think that the Diamondbacks should be backed. I bet them first 5 -0.5 and full game -1. We have a 2-cent move to the over 8.5 from -110 to -112. So a 2-cent move on the over. And then on the money line here, not as much. I was hoping for more movement, but we're okay. But this is basically where it was last night. It hasn't changed. Well, there was 7 cents of movement when we were – actually, there wasn't. There was 5 cents of movement when we did our show last night. So now there's 7 more, 12 cents altogether. I was hoping for a little bit more than that. And Coin talking about Soroka, 2 runs or less in 7 of his last 8 starts. Wine Time says he may join us on the first 5. I don't see why we would hold it to just the first 5, Wine Time. We have a big bullpen advantage and a bullpen I really trust. So I think that this should be a full game. I think the first 5 is actually a little bit more vulnerable because of the Twins' offense. And but I think Prelup is a fade again. So let's get into the price difference and the cash flow. I imagine Arizona is very public here, and that won't bother me too much if they are. And sorry, let's get it up here. What the hell's wrong with me? We have 80% of tickets, 89% of cash on Arizona. 53% of the tickets on the over and 90% of cash on the over. So Arizona is -162. 162 on the full game. The first 5 they're -163. I mean, it's not like that DeGrom -190, a 40-cent difference first 5. Rob Free, I will take a look at what the best my best look is. I think I probably have it. I just want to go over it really quickly once more. I think I have it. But I just give me a second just to regroup and everything. So, of all of my bets, the one where the market has agreed with it the most by far is the Rangers first 5 -0.5. And here, Arizona first 5 -0.5, full game -1. I'm comfortable with it. It's a big line. They're a big favorite, and I'm comfortable with it. Okay, let's roll on. Next spot for us here is Orioles, Dodgers. It is our second to last spot on the board. We got to move quickly. Of course, we have the daily sesh popping off in 29 minutes. We have here Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine, -5% runs, +7% homers, -6% doubles and triples, -5% singles. We have Trey Gibson on the mound. again, I want to just mention this one more time, and I'll not mention it again. How did I know? Did we know that Kyle Gibson retired during the year last year? Was there any fanfare for old Kyle Gibson? By the way, Rod White says, bet against Mike Soroka and home starts on the money line when his team is off a win. Soroka's team record since 2025 is 1-9 since 2025. But remember, last year he spent most of the year with the Washington Nationals, who were horrible. But I feel that. Jerry Davis, Dodgers slider -1. One time says Dodgers team total over is something I want. So this is the big difference from this year to last year. And again, I'm on this hot streak, but let's wait and see what the final product is. Let's just wait and see. Don't judge yourself when you're at your hottest. Judge yourself at the end. And I would never make this bet last year. This line move opens up -200. Dodgers go down to -170, and I think, oh well, I don't care. I'm going to bet it. So I moved to -180 here. And so Trey Gibson. Let's start with Trey here. And Chill Will says, the Daily Sesh, if you know, you know. Man, Daily Sesh, such a great show, dude. I'm a big fan. And that's in 20 minutes. So we got to keep moving. So let's go Trey Gibson. Trey Gibson has not looked very good, whether it's in AAA or in the show. AAA 3.55 ERA, 1.53 WHIP, 4.37 expected ERA. Major League Baseball 5.91 ERA, 1.59 WHIP, 6.62 expected ERA. So how do you explain this line move away from the Dodgers? And you could say, well, Roki Sasaki, they just saw him get hit for 7 earned runs over 4 1/3. But it still doesn't make sense to me. And instead of getting nervous, I thought, I'm just going to bet it. Now, we said that the hope is we come back here in the morning and it's -200. Well, that's happened. This opened up at -200, like I said, went down to -170 and has climbed up to -203. So we've had 3 cents of movement towards the Dodgers, to -203. It's where we want. It's what we wanted to see happen. Let's just leave it at that. It's what we wanted to see happen. From a total side of things, we have the 9.5, so we have 3 cents of movement towards the under. I said that I thought Roki Sasaki was going to start delivering, and he was going to turn his season around, and he did. And I felt very good about it. And then I backed him on June 12th. Friday, June 12th, I took a bath, as you guys know. It's the one losing day we've had. Now, because of the 2 voided bets on the A's, I lost vig yesterday. So I guess it's 2 losing days, but it doesn't feel like it should have been. Here, though, on Friday, last Friday, I got destroyed. I need to change that this Friday here. And you have Sasaki pitching very well, getting lit up in the last start. Bullpen-wise, both bullpens are struggling. The Dodgers bullpen's being barreled a few times. 4.57 ERA, 1.28 WHIP last 30. Orioles bullpen 4.95 ERA, 1.38 WHIP last 30. So both have struggled at times. And then we have these teams destroying righties. Dodgers just righties 275, 847 OPS. Orioles just righties 269, 811 OPS. So I got the first. Because of when we moved, we got the -1 at -138. Be curious to see what's going on at Pinnacle here in this game. We have the Dodgers are -202 right now. So the -1 is -152. So at least we timed it right, because we got that first 5 -138. So we got that by 14 cents. So the full game's -203. The first half is -192. A subtle difference. And then with the first 5 -1/2, -136. And I believe that is exactly. And I got -138, so that's not great. Now, Jam says the Orioles offense is a joke. I mean, Jam, statistically, they're hitting really well against righties. So, I mean, vividness, I can understand that. But, okay. Let's roll on here. That's the Dodger spot. So the final spot on the board. Now, we talked about these 2 unders. And now I'm back with you guys on. I can now explain comfortably why it moved to the over in the Rangers-Padres game. So if I can explain it, I can be comfortable with it. We can move on. Then here, this line was moving towards the under, and I was like, I got to bet it immediately. And it looked like it was going to go down to a 6.5, and it did go down to a 6.5, which is great. And I'll see if maybe it's come back up to a 7. But here, Boston, Seattle, I got the full game under 7 at minus 120. And I got the first three, and that it was surprising because 365 was giving the best line there. And then I got the first three under 2 at minus 108. The first three under 2 at minus 108. And I looked this morning, and the first three under 2 was very expensive. Beating the line by about 30 cents, which is a great sign. I don't think when I say that to you guys that it necessarily should be moved on now at the number afterwards. I'm just saying it's a very good sign if anybody ran with me from last night's show. The first three under here is, wow. This might be the biggest I've beaten the first three under. The first three under 1.5 now is plus 100. Wow. I got that first three under 2 at minus 108. Wow. This might be the biggest I've hit. The first three under 2.5 is minus 200. I guess it's not that much because I got the first three under 1.5 at plus. I beat it by 40 cents. I guess it's a little, I mean, it still feels good. Still feels good. And Spoon looking at Dodgers double result sitting at 130. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Jam says sounds like a snooze fest. God, I love that. I love clean baseball. Gamblers First Glance is in, folks. Running hot right now is Razor Sharp Picks, and the Gamblers First Glance is in. Let's go back to the Red Sox spot here quickly, and then we'll just go over the unders one more time. God, where the hell is that Red Sox game? Page of notes are ridiculous. Here, let me do this. This will be easier. Okay, Gamblers First Glance is in. And, oh, it's the Seattle game. What the hell? It's the game we're talking about right now. Jeez, I'm tripping. I'm looking through. Okay, tripping out. Okay, Gamblers First Glance is in, and it is the Boston Red Sox here for our final game on the board. Let's discuss the side, because I'm only on unders here, but Gamblers GFG is in. Dizzy Rosti in the house. Great to see you. Jerry Davis says, let's go. I'm also on Boston. So we're in T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington here. As I said, I've moved on unders in both of these spots. Let's get right into the weather here at T-Mobile. It's not very run suppressing. Minus 7% runs, plus 4% homers, minus 13% doubles and triples, and minus 7% singles. We have Ranger Suarez here. Nasty Nate, come on. Nasty Nate, this is the first time you haven't said Red Sox smash in our lives. Did you spell Red Sox wrong? Nasty Nate? Nasty Nate, do you smell burnt toast? Can you feel your right arm? Talk to us, Nasty Nate. Let's make sure he's okay. Ranger Suarez, 2-3, 3.21 ERA, 1.17 whip, 3.45 expected ERA. And, you know, he was lifted for hamstring tightness on May 3rd, in that May 3rd start. And he came out and shoved back-to-back starts. Then he had two bad starts. Tuesday, May 26th at home versus the Braves, 5 earned runs over 5 innings. They're not really raking lefties. And then again on May 31st, 4 earned runs over 5 innings, a 9-4 win of the Guardians. His last start, though, was a thing of beauty. He was at the Yankees. He shoved, absolutely shoved. Let's talk about, oh, that wasn't his last start. That was June 7th when he shoved. Back-to-back night starts. Of course, sorry, Saturday, June 13th at home over the Rangers, 2 earned runs over 5 innings. Looks great. Let's talk about Bryce Miller. You know, Bryce Miller has been phenomenal this year. 1.54 ERA, 0.71 whip, 36 strikeouts and 5 walks. He was terrible last year. He dealt with a ton of injuries, elbow issues. Didn't need Tommy John. Came back late this year because of a left oblique strain. And the Jilted Lover play today. You're right. I forgot about Jilted Lover. Jilted Lover is so funny, man. So Bryce Miller has been unbelievable. He has had 6 starts. 3 of them he isn't allowed to run, and 3 of them he's allowed 2 earned runs. This is a man has allowed 6 earned runs this year. The Red Sox are hitting righties hard. But let's go to the bullpens first. Red Sox bullpen being great all year. Mariners bullpen's had a couple of hiccups. Now 4.12 ERA, 1.31 whip. You can see over the last 10 games, and even the last 20 games, they've been struggling. The trajectory just going up. The Boston Red Sox bullpen is good. Now, I wondered what the mentality of the Boston Red Sox would be. The fact that they lost that game yesterday was bumbling idiots. Durbin not coming in and catching that foul that cost them the game. They lose the game because of it. Valenzuela hits a double right after. I mean, it's just poor play. And that got to eat them. That means it's a sweep of the Jays, and it shouldn't have been a sweep. The Mariners don't have power versus lefties right now, but that could change. Naylor's back. And okay, let's take a look at this line history here. We have the 7 minus 115 to the under, now a 6.5, and it's almost a flat 6.5 at Bet Online. It's only 5 cents. It's only minus 115 to the over. Now, Bet Online is the one pushing the under the hardest here. Now let's take a look at the money line. You guys are all talking about Razor's look on the Red Sox and Gambler's first glance on the Red Sox, and a big line move towards the Red Sox from plus 114 to minus 103. That doesn't really tell the whole story because this got up to plus 124 at 5 p.m. yesterday. This was plus 118 at 5 a.m. So there must be sharp action coming in on these Boston Red Sox. Warbuck says this has to be a Red Sox spot. Let's take a look at the price difference, first 5 in full game here for the Boston Red Sox. Then we'll take a look at cash flow. Then we'll do a review. And then we'll have to rock really quickly through WNBA and the CFL. We have the Red Sox right now the Mariners right now minus 107. Full game at Penny. And first 5 minus 119. Extremely interesting spot. Let's see if the cash is all over the Mariners. Let's see if that is the case. 70% of the tickets on the Mariners, 58% cash on them. 59% tickets on the over and 85% cash on the over. Look, we talked about on Tuesday how we should probably open up our arms to bets, for me, at least, that are just purely market related. That I wasn't going to move on unless the market got me there. And on Tuesday, we did it with the Twins, and they were up, 8-0 after 2 innings? The books are telling us, the market is telling us here. The only other spot on the board where I think the market is telling us is Rangers first 5 minus a half. The books are screaming at us. The other spot where I think the books are screaming at us is the fade of Mizorowski. I can't do it, but the books are saying they're opening up their arms and they're giving everybody Mizorowski's allowed 1 earned run over the last 8 starts, the cheap entry point. Look, I think everybody's right with this. I think you guys are right. I mean, this is the books tipping their hand. And I agree with the Gambler's first glance. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. I used to think it happened on 1 baseball game a day, but now there's lots of days where it doesn't happen. The books are telling us. And we should listen. I'm in. This sad sack Reds. Now, I bet you they lose the game on an error, and we were right, but the 3-base error cost us the game, and we fucking lose because the bumbling Red Sox are playing like ass clowns. And the fact that they got swept by the Jays and the fashion that they did it in, that plane ride to Seattle must have been fucking library. And if they were having a good time on that plane, they couldn't. If you were the manager of that team, you would just have to open hand slap everybody in the face. At GFG, 8-2 the last 10. 8-2 the last 10, and it is the Red Sox. I agree. That makes sense. Okay. And Jerry Davis says, I'm always looking to fade Seattle against a good left-handed pitcher. Now, again, Naylor's back. I don't know his numbers against lefties, but oh my God, they have Castillo listed as a primary. So, God, they must hate that so much. They hate that so much. Oh, man, they must hate that so much. And Rob Free says, not touching these clowns. Socks are trash. Look, that's fair assessment, man. That's fair assessment. Okay, we don't have a lot of time here. We're 15 minutes away from the daily session. Let's review action here. I came in with 10 bets. Cleveland, Houston under 8.5, minus 115. Rangers first 5, minus a half, minus 107. Tigers first 5, minus 1 at minus 109. Houston, minus 118. Arizona first 5, minus a half at minus 110. Arizona full game, minus 1 at minus 115. Dodgers first 5, minus a half at minus 132. Dodgers full game, minus 1 at minus 138. Boston, Seattle first 3 under 2 at minus 108. Boston, Seattle full game under 7 at minus 120. We're going to go over our additions, but the Diamondbacks, we're not alone on the Diamondback spot. The Diamondbacks are also the shotgun play of the day from our very own Ron Crawford. God, man, I got to see Ronnie Crawford and his band in person, man. That is 19-year-old Ron Crawford, the vocals. 19-year-old Ronnie Crawford here crushing it like Axl Rose. All right. We got to move quickly. There's our guy, Joey DFS, in the house. Horiguchi plus 125 from Joey DFS. Shout out to the whole Pub Sports MMA Nation. Get this copied and pasted. So, and again, Ron Crawford isn't alone on the Diamondbacks. That is also Freebands play of the day. 2 units for Dougie Wise. Freebands has been rolling. Thank you, Jake. I mean, it's we're on a wonderful run. So let's keep it going. But let's just quickly talk about the additions here for me. First 3 under in full game under. I expect to bet right after the show in Blue Jays, Chicago Cubs. So that is an addition. Look, I don't have to bet this Reds first 3 plus a half, but it feels like going back to the Feltner well. Now, when I went back to the Feltner well, I lost the first 3 and cashed the first 5. So it wasn't that great, but and then I also feel like I'm trying too hard with this, and I bet you Rhett Lauder allows 5 earned runs in the first inning, but God, I want him to succeed so bad. He's gone through so many injuries. God, and now he gets a chance to pitch at Yankee Stadium. God, I hope he pitches well. And I want to back him first 3 plus a half. I think that the first 3 under is too expensive in San Francisco Giants, Miami Marlins, but I want to spend a little more time on that. I have some interest in the first 3 under in Washington, Tampa, but that's also very expensive. So I may just let both of those go. It's just a little out of my price range at this point, and I would have to take the Rays Nationals into a 2. Then I think the Rangers first 5 minus a half until this Red Sox line move, which is telling us. I thought the Rangers first 5 minus half is beautiful. We have Spooner on the full game under in this Padres Rangers spot, and now I can explain the move to the over. I just needed to come to grips with it because there's even been 5 more cents of movement since I wanted to bet it last night. So there's been 15 cents towards the over since I wanted to bet it. And I'm going to bet it. First 3 under and full game under. I can see why people are betting the over. Then no additions there. God, come on. We got to move quickly. I want to know if Witt's in. If Witt's in, I may have interest in the Royals. But I think what Spooner is saying about the concussion is valid. And I didn't mean to, because I kind of just skirted over it because I heard them both, him and the manager, just saying that they're fine. It's no thing. Then, look, I understand that the under is the sharp side in Pirates, Colorado. I can't bet. I want to fade Bubba Chandler as much as you guys. And who wants to back Kyle Freeland? A's team total over. I need to think about that. We're going away for Father's Day, so I need to think on the drive. I'll be thinking about whether or not how to handle that game. And that is Major League Baseball here, and I'll add the Red Sox. Major League Baseball for Friday, June 19th. Okay, let's roll here in the WNBA. We got to work very, very quickly here. And I want to spend a little bit more time on CFL, and we have the daily sesh popping off in 11 minutes. So we have to be done in 10 minutes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. We have to be done. Here, Connecticut Sun must be bet. In the WNBA so far, what we've noticed is that unlike the NBA, these teams don't step up when they're dealing with injuries. They just don't step up. And the Connecticut Sun are now plus 2.5. This line's moving against me. And, I disagree. I disagree full-heartedly. Get that 2.5. Also, if you look at the bets we've made when we've gone up against the market move in WNBA, they're incredible. Now, that probably is due to a small sample size. It's not something you want to be doing. But the Connecticut Sun are such a bad basketball team. But if you compare their rosters to this beat-up tempo, the tempo should be faded in every single game moving forward. Every single one. We got a 3-teamer here. Oh, and Justin McKelvey says, anyone watching the 2-3 zone? Shout out to the 2-3 zone. Justin McKelvey and Ronnie Crawford says he gave this out yesterday. Jam says the Sun is so terrible. That makes it perfect when I hear that. And Ski says they don't step up because everyone plays hard every night in the W. In the NBA, the other team overlooks their opponent when they're missing a star. Wow, that's a very, very shrewd point from the great Ski Prophet. God, I wish we had more time to talk WNBA today. We're gonna have to skirt through it. But that is a shrewd. If you need answers, God, isn't this community wonderful? That is such a, and it's succinct and it's tight and it's concise. Wow, that's a great line, Ski. So yes, I think that Toronto tempo should be bet every game, and I watched the tempo. Or sorry, faded every game here. So Connecticut Sun for me. We're having ski. It's a learning process. You've been capping WNBA for a long time, and you got you're such a skilled basketball capper. I didn't do well last year, but I've kept working on it, and this year it's got off to a great start. But then losing both bets on the Fever team total under yesterday, and watching all my friends, Justin and Spoons and Kevin cashing with Atlanta was hurt. I just did it wrong, and it still stinks. So let's roll here. Next spot on the board, Mystics New York Liberty. So a lot of people had high expectations for the Mystics coming into the year. I wasn't one of them. So I wasn't hurt by their poor play to begin the year. I think the Mystics provide a lot of value. Shakira Austin obviously is an important piece of the puzzle. We faded the Liberty against the Chicago Sky because they'd already clinched the Commissioner's Cup. They had nothing to play for. And the Sky are a well-coached team. I know Rakea out. If Rakea was in, it would be a fun year for them. And now, of course, it's not going to be a fun year. But the idea is that the Liberty are going to smash back. They're going to smack back, right? That's what the line is telling us. The opening line at 11.5 now moved to 13. It just doesn't really appeal to me. But they're telling us this is a smash and grab for the Liberty. And we should be going over the cash flow a little bit as well. By the way, Toronto's being heavily bet. 71% of the tickets and 89% of cash. I say fade that. 88% of tickets, 89% cash on the over. In this one, we're Washington, New York. We have 74% of tickets and 87% of cash on New York. I'm certainly not going up against this market move. But I don't want. I kind of like the Mystics, and they've been very good to me. Let's talk about the game that I am still interested in, and that's Minnesota Lynx, Golden State Valkyries. I've only had one future in the WNBA. Shout out to Ronnie Crawford. He's got the Lynx at plus 1,200. I only have him at plus 650. Obviously, Olivia Miles has captured the imagination of basketball fans. Look, the team is very good, and that's without Fee playing for them. But the Valkyries just keep putting money in our pockets. And we hammered them against Dallas. We had just been on Dallas versus the Aces, and we thought it was a letdown spot for Dallas, or at least Dallas was overvalued. I just feel like Minnesota's overvalued in this spot. I really do. Rod's wacky, two-teamer Valkyries moneyline and Sun moneyline. I like that. Trifecta Jam, no trifectas for me here. I don't think it's a trifecta spot, Jam, and this is why. It's because with the injuries for the tempo, they don't have depth. Oh shit, I gotta hurry here. And Swig says totals off. Someone's got to be not playing here. No, I don't think so. Just a 3-point move to the under. I would now Ski can, or someone in the chat can tell us if there's an injury that I don't know about here. But I want to back the Valks. I think this is a very low number for a reason. We weren't concerned at the low number. Now, that was when they were a favorite here. But we weren't concerned about the low favorite number against Dallas. I don't think we should be here. I think this is a Valkyrie spot. I think we just trust them to get the job done, to take care of business here. And that's what we'll do. Okay, so let's roll on. Okay, let's roll on. We got to be very quick here, CFL. And I told you guys we were going to have more time for this, and I apologize that we're not. We have to be done the show in 5 minutes. Lions, Tiger Cats were at Hamilton Stadium in Hamilton, Ontario. This is the highest total in CFL history. And when you hear anybody talking about this spot, they're talking about how the last 5 games have still gone over this total. Everybody's still on the over. These were the 2 highest scoring teams from last year. And the BC Lions now have their 2 top receivers, or 2 of their best receivers, injured. And I don't see it. And then, when I talk about colleagues I respect so much being on the other side, I don't mean to imply any negativity towards it. So please know that. But here, Ronnie Crawford believing that this is a letdown spot for the Tiger Cats. And look, God, he could be so right. But the reason why I don't think it's a letdown spot is because they lost their home opener. Up 14 points with like a quarter left. So I think that they know that they owe it to their fans. And why would I like the BC Lions starting the year with 2 road games? What I want here is the Lions to lose this game too, and then see if the future market's more appealing backing the Lions after an 0-2 start. So, and Jerry Davis on the other side for the Lynx. I feel you. So I moved on 3 spots in this one. I'm going to fade these totals. Look, I don't care. Every game's gone over except for one this year, and I've doubled up on 3 unders. First half under 28.5, full game under 59, and I'm on the Tiger Cats money line at minus 125 here. Let's quickly touch on the line history for this spot. We have the Hamilton Tiger Cats have gone from dog to favorite, plus 1.5 to minus 1.5. And then from a total side of things, show me low. Okay, it's moving to a 58.5. Go down. I need this to drop and keep dropping. Okay, next spot on the board. That was nice and fast. Next stop on the board. God, here's Argos Red Blacks. Thank you. God, the pages and notes here. Argos Red Blacks. So I'm on the first half under 27.5 and the full game under 54.5. And then I moved on the Red Blacks, and I will explain why. It made me sick to make the bet. We have this total sitting at 54.5. Hasn't moved. Bookmaker did move it up to 55. And then on the spread, it's the opposite. The Red Blacks have gone from favorite to dog. I got them at the plus 1.5. So I'm fine with all of this. Okay, so very, very, very quickly. Yes, you know it, Jerry. You know, when you work with someone for so long, you sort of know where they're how they're gonna traverse the market. But here we go. For me, look at this advantage here. So we see Toronto and we see Chad Kelly's first game in 580 days, and he shoves. What did he shove for? 445 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Listen to this. The Argos played at Montreal, now play at Ottawa. Short travel, but still 2 road games. The Red Blacks are coming in off a bye, and their coach was just fired from running everything that this team had. The Argos let him go in the summertime. I told Gorkel, like late in the year, I was like, oh, they could fire Dinwiddie. They had just won the Super Bowl, the Grey Cup the year before. He was like, no, they won't. There's no way. And they still fired his ass. Dinwiddie knows everything about the Argos. They've had a full bye week. Don't forget that when they lost at home to the Elks, they did not have Greg Bell. He was their big offseason signing. Now Chad Kelly could stab me in the larynx, but I love backing Dinwiddie here. Red Blacks and unders. Then we have Alouettes Elks. Again, this is a game with weather issues. Rain. Nobody's talking about it. I don't know why anybody's talking. There's wind. There's double-digit wind. There's rain. And because the overs have been hitting, people are on the overs. Now, look, the Elks are 11-3 over the last 14 with Fajardo at quarterback. Davis Alexander's never lost a regular season football game in the Canadian Football League. And if he wins here, he ties the CFL record of 14. And then if he ties the record, who's not betting this guy under 3 points? I got the minus 2.5 and minus 117. Right now, there's been a slight move towards, and we have Gorkel here and others. Gorkel on the Elks money line. This total's at 52.5. It's not moving. I'm on the first half under and the full game under. And then on the point spread here, we have the Elks. The Alouettes back minus 2.5 again. You can get the minus 2.5, minus 117. And then in the last game on the board here, Saskatchewan has some key injuries. Here. No, I would not. Would you? No, Jerry, I think his body's aching. No. I would expect his second start to be worse than the first start. All the adrenaline, all the excitement. Now he goes up against a coach who knows every single thing about him. I'm editing myself. I was going to talk about, why he was suspended and all that stuff. I edited it there. Let's not screw this up. So back to business here. The Rough Riders lose Roland Milligan Jr., defensive back. They lose Nelson Lacombo, who's a beast at safety. They're bringing in American rookie Juju Hughes. They're also bringing in Jackson Ford. And I just think that Calgary, off of a bye, after losing their first game, I mean, isn't that exactly where you want a team? Imagine if you could get this in the NFL. You get a team in week 3 that loses in week 1, gets a bye in week 2, and then you get them in week 3 as a basic pick'em. Midwest Margins, Lucas Bryan House. Rod's Wax said bet on Edmonton when playing on a Saturday. Edmonton's record is 2025, 7-0 against the spread. Well, I can't wait for the CFL. 10 bets for me in the CFL. I've hammered these bets. Hammered these bets. Thank you guys. Go off to the daily sesh. Shout out to our guys, Dutch Boy Fresh and Dabby Cab. That's a nice line of +4.5, Rod. You're a beast. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you to Swiggy on the ones and twos. Go roll a bat and run with the boys. But most importantly, have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers there on Sunday. And let's get this cash, man. Leche! Hey, los bookmakers. Milk that shit.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pop Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam, Dutch Wine Time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.